Two Beards Reviews reviewing Next Goal Wins. That's right. Coming up next. Let's go. All right. Welcome to another episode of Two Beards Reviews. I'm your host, Rousey. That is Adrian, mate. We're reviewing a really, really interesting movie today.
Yes.
It's one about football because our channel is all about football. Let's face it.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
We love the world game, don't we?
Yes.
So this is all about that, and it's a real feel good movie. So we're reviewing Next Goal Wins. Next Goal Wins. It's out now in the movies in your local cinema. A film by Searchlight Pictures and directed by none other than Taika Waititi, who also actually directed some of my favorite Thor movies, Love and Thunder. And did he do which other? He's done a couple Marvel ones, hasn't he?
I think he did Ragnarok. Didn't he do Thor Ragnarok as well?
Yeah, he did both. Ragnarok. Yeah.
So he's done that. But like honestly, like he's a huge actor now in his own right. But obviously just incredible filmmaker and just, from across the ditch. So pretty cool to kind of get this story. And I feel like if it wasn't for, Taika's probably like background in terms of, being part of the oceanic region, like it's pretty much this story might not be told. So it's a pretty good story. And I think I like the way it kicks off just for being Australian. Just that little opening sequence, this is all about how the American Samoa team is basically shit. And, and Australia embarrassed them. What was the score, mate? What was it?
31-0. Now, for our viewers and listeners, that did actually happen. So this whole movie is based on true events. Now, obviously, being Hollywood, they'll tend to jazz things up a little bit, make things a bit more about the comedy. I know some of the backstory they played with the main protagonist, which is Tom Rongen, who was a Dutch-American coach and quite a prominent player, and then went on to play in the MLS league. And then obviously through that came the opportunity to coach American Samoa for 3 weeks. That said, I was a little surprised it was just 3 weeks. It seemed like they got a lot done in that 3 weeks.
Yeah, it seemed a lot longer. Like I'm thinking like years had passed. But Michael Fassbender, who plays Tommy, is one of he's one of my favorite actors, just for the fact that he's just so versatile. And I think this pretty much shows that. He's put the bleach blonde in his hair. He's even done the eyebrows. But like honestly, the accent was spot on. The emotion in what he does throughout the film as well is pretty cool. And I don't know, he allows for comedy whilst also still keeping kind of that serious tone. What did you think of Michael's performance?
Yeah, I thought his performance was really, really, really inspiring. I think the way the whole film was actually written, we can pick out things here and there. It felt like he was starting to make breakthroughs throughout that movie, starting to turn around, and then it comes to him playing Tonga, and he basically regresses back to his old form,
his old ways.
And it takes a little spoiler alert, takes a little talk from one of the founders of the American Samoa. That's how they say it, Samoa. But I think it really gives that good sort of fish out of water vibe. And he sort of plays that really well in this movie. And I find that, he's a big time coach, but he's going to some small, island in the middle of the Pacific, and just like, and
for context, had never scored a goal or won a game.
Never
So
scored a goal, never won a game, and he was going
like
to coach them.
like that's like purgatory for those who are not football fans
Mm.
and have come across this. It's like football purgatory. But I think that's the context of it all. Is that America Samoa is they're not elite sports people. They're the people. And I love the casting in this as well. You can actually see you can see in my background, but it's a bit harder. But better in Rousey's background on just the different faces that they've pulled in for this film and just the
I gotta
casting.
admit, the thing that one that really got to me, and I was surprised it got to me, was the performance of the actor named Kaimana who plays Jaya Selua, um,
Yes.
who is the advocate and became the advocate for trans athletes.
Yeah.
And there's a really, really touching scene in the movie where she goes off her hormones um, to try and um, compete more with the boys, and it shows her sort of mental breakdown. Now, whether you think trans athletes have a place in sport or not, that's irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant for this type of thing. This American Samoa. They made it feel like it was isolated from the events of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And what do they refer to her as a fufanani or something? A flower?
Yeah,
If we're on,
I can't remember, but honestly,
yeah.
like, yeah, the
But her
breakdown scene
performance
is
was
is
amazing.
huge, fucking immense, like fucking immense. How the performance of that, but also just the true to the story as well. Like, so I hadn't seen. There's a documentary that came out in 2013, actually with the same name, which is how Taika actually came to make this film. He had obviously seen that was inspired to make a cinematic version, and to hear that this, I guess, transgender player had gone through that in such a, like you said, an isolated area. It is not, it's not like fucking downtown LA. It's not like, in a populated city is what I'm trying to get at. And, this is a 1 in a million kind of circumstance. And the acceptance of the teammates is incredible, but also it's also shown in the actual story, in the real events. This person was embraced from day dot, and
Mm,
she was an integral part, and was, like you said, an integral part for transgenders. I guess advocate in real life as well. So
mm.
like pretty incredible. But the actor who portrayed her is just, yeah, phenomenal
Phenomenal.
casting.
Phenomenal.
But I want to ask you, probably one of my favorite out of the entire thing is actually the America Samoa FA boss. Now,
That has like a million jobs.
yeah, and it just, and honestly, like, I don't know if for those of us who might have worked, I mean, you will have seen it at least at local level. That's what it is. Like, I've worked at football clubs where the president's doing, the ball boy as well, like, pumping them up and shit, and like working the canteen, and but you expect the FA, or which is guess a federation, a registered federation for the world game, to have less responsibilities like that and more financial. Nope. This guy does everything. And the actor who did it, and I don't know the actor's name, but one of my favorite performances of this year so far, just because makes my heart all warm. I don't know why. Just seeing him talk, whether it's just a joke, whether it's having a serious moment with Michael Fassbender, whatever it might be, this guy was pulling at my heartstrings every which way, and I loved it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, there's some funny moments there with the film. So we'll actually we'll discuss the comedy of the film. I felt
Yep.
there were certain parts of the film that were forced.
Yes.
Like they were just trying to be funny for the sake of being funny. It had really nothing to do with um the sort of feel and the way the film was trying to structure itself. It became just sort of some of the jokes, like one of the jokes that like where they're trying to chase down ex-players of the American Samoa team.
Yeah, yeah.
And they come across one guy and he's like, yeah, no, I'm in. Cool, cool. And he walks off and gets hit by a bus and killed. And he's like, they didn't need to do that.
No. I'd love to know if that was factual though, because that'd be pretty
Yeah.
not funny, but
Yeah,
fucking
but
morbid.
and then obviously there was his little speech. It's like, well, I don't apologize. I'm not saying sorry for that. So sorry for that. And it's like, you're kind of like, yeah, you kind of just throwing things in there just to try and get a laugh. And I know I understand rather than letting the natural comedy because a lot of these islanders that they bring into it, the Samoan people, and they brought in genuine Samoan people. Um, they're naturally funny anyway. And when they
Yeah.
weren't trying to be funny, was the funniest parts of the
Was
movie
when it peaked.
where
Yeah.
it peaked. And
Yep.
that's where it truly came through. And there were just some things that were just kind of like, oh Jesus. Like
Yeah, cringy. Like the big one for me was you know how like you know the Maori people might do like a tribal dance when someone arrives and gets off the bus. And
mm,
they did like what was it, like the chicken dance, like the like, you know, just having a
yeah.
laugh. And it's just like, and I'm not sure if that happened or not. I hope it's factual, but again, something like that made me cringe a little bit and made it a bit forced. But in saying all of that, the drama side of things was something I didn't think I'd be liking. You know, when you watch like a film that has comedy and you're like, the drama bits are the worst parts. You're like,
Mm.
just skip the drama, just get back to being, you know, slapstick funny. Well, this was the opposite for me. I was kind of like, yeah, cool, joke. Yep, you're joking. Yep, that's great. Move on to the serious part. I want to see what Tommy does next. I want to see what happens. So I don't know. What did you feel about the drama of it all?
I thought there were some very heartwarming moments. And I thought the drama of it, the actual drama side of it, played up better than the comedy side.
Yeah, me too.
And when the drama sort of interacted with the comedy, that was when it was at its peak. And that was when it's like, oh, I can really get into this. You know, it's like
Mm,
it's a really good movie, and it's not hard to understand the movie.
no.
Um, and I appreciate that. It's got that very sort of Cool Runnings vibe, you know.
It
You
does,
know,
doesn't it? Cool
it
Runnings.
does,
I mean, it's a less funny Cool Runnings. But in all seriousness, um,
but
yeah,
it's an inspirational movie, and
for sure,
I think you know, I was a little disappointed with the ending, but I think if you know the story and the backstory behind it, you kind of will get that more. So if you are going to see the movie, then I would recommend you do learn a little bit about the backstory behind the American Samoa
for
team
sure,
and Thomas Rongan, because that is key. And then you
for
would sort
sure.
of understand why he was only there for 3 weeks, why he didn't stay. Spoiler alert.
I mean, the thing
But
about real events is it's hard because, like, you know, if we're talking about a movie that was completely made up, we're saying these things. It is a spoiler, like 100%. But these are things that were, you know, factual. There's doco about it. It's
yeah,
it's been a while. When I say common knowledge, it's definitely not common knowledge, but it is out there. And I think it's something that, like, again, I went into it pretty much only knowing the Australia scoreline. I guess being Australian and knowing how yeah, how we demolished
Mm,
them. But in saying all of that, at the end of the day, my biggest thing is that it was a it was a fine movie. It was a pleasant movie. It was a movie
mm.
that I could watch again gladly and feel pleasant about it. But I'd love to get your, I guess, rating and I
Rousey's
guess
rating.
final opinion.
Right,
Yeah.
Rousey's rating. Fucking here we go. Okay. Now, I think overall, like you said, the movie was extremely enjoyable. It was a fun watch. I highly recommend going to see it yourself, making your own mind up, and I can tell you from my personal experience of the movie, it was very enjoyable. There are some things which don't work. There are some things that do. And the stuff that works really well, and the stuff that doesn't work tends to pull your attention away from the movie a little bit. So
Yes.
I would say overall, Rousey's rating for next goal wins will be a very high 6, almost a
Oh,
7.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a
Yeah.
decent rating for it. So
I
we'll
think it's a
say,
very decent rating.
yeah,
That's a
worth a
very
watch.
decent.
Worth a watch. We'll say 6 out of 10. Worth a watch.
Do you
There
do
you
you
go.
remember when like so and look, this is, I promise this is has a point to my rating, but do you remember when like you'd go to Blockbuster back in the day when that shit was around, and
Mm,
you would go there and you like the new releases had come out, so the ones that were in the cinema and then they came to the thing, and you were like, I didn't want to pay money to see that, but I do want to see it for
mm.
fucking $3 rental or whatever it was. That's how I feel about this film. Is not that I wasted my money. It's just that I could have probably waited till it was on streaming services, which from my research, it does look like it will be most likely in the coming weeks once that conclusion has
Well, in
happened
which
in
case, get
Australia.
out there and watch it then.
That's it.
Don't have to go
Because
see it in the cinema.
well, in America, I think it's released. It was released on the 16th of Jan, in terms of streaming and purchasable on like iTunes and things. In Australia, though, I think because we had a bit more of a delayed run, that it will probably be in the coming weeks. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, but it most likely will be on Stan as the streaming service, but might be wrong there. Anyways, reason I bring that up is I thought it was a okay movie. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 purely for the fact that I could have waited. Was I was I missing out if I didn't see it in the cinema? No. Seeing it at home or in the cinema didn't make a difference. It would still give me the same joy, but also give me the same cringy moments with the forced comedy that Rousey has mentioned. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for me. Doesn't mean not to watch it. It is still an okay watch. It's one of those weird ones where I'm giving it a poor
Mm.
rating, but I still actually
I
think you
wouldn't
should
say
watch
I
it.
wouldn't say a 5 or 6 is a poor rating. 5 or 6 is more on the scale of we think it's worth watching. It's an enjoyable watch. You are
Yeah,
going to have a good time if you go and watch it. Obviously, it's not going to be like blow your mind, 10 out of 10 or anything like that, but it's a worth a watch. And so 5 or 6 is a good score.
love
So
it.
guys, that's it for this episode of Two Beers Reviews. We tried to make it a bit less spoilery. I know if you come to our channel, you're most likely used to seeing Wrexham content. This is something a little bit different. Guys, streaming, all our relevant links are down below if you want to join up to what we've got. And we will see you guys on the next podcast of Two Beards, a podcast on Wrexham AFC, and the next Two Beards reviews. Let us know what you want us to review. We will go out, we will suffer in our jocks, we will watch it, and we will give our review
Still,
here on YouTube.
yeah. Maybe it doesn't even have to be football related. Might, I want to watch Godzilla again, to be honest, because I love that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. Or, we can go watch Angel or Debbie Does Dallas or something. Let us know what you want us to review anyway. All right. XXX backdoor teens or something. I don't know.
Jesus
No, we're,
Christ. Yeah,
we're
you
not
know what?
reviewing porn movies on this channel. We're reviewing genuine stuff. But by all means, we'll see you guys
Look,
next time on Two Beards Reviews. I'm your host, Rousey. That is Adrian. We fucking love you. Let's go.